This video shows you how to group vessels in KVH Manager and manage users' access to them. Prior to July 2025, the only way to group vessels under a customer's corporate account was to ask KVH to add an indirect sub-account for each fleet, adding clutter and making things harder to find in KVH Manager. The Groups tool that replaced this process puts the power in your hands while simplifying the interface. It allows you to create all the groups you need at any time. It also allows you to restrict users' access to a group, so they only see the fleet that applies to them. Let's run through a basic scenario to see how groups work. In our example, the service provider Nelson Maritime has two corporate accounts, one for Nelly Stone Shipping and one for MJN Fishing. Each account contains a hodgepodge of vessels and users associated with that business. They could be organized better. James Town, IT Director at Nelson Maritime, trusts senior managers at Nelly Stone Shipping and MJN Fishing to manage their own businesses in KVH Manager. So he'll ask them to set up their own groups as they see fit. To get started, he first asks KVH Airtime Services to add Group Manager permission to his user contact record. Since users at the top level account maintain the permissions for all child corporate accounts, he can now designate group managers for each business. James logs into KVH Manager and goes to Fleet Tools. He selects the Nelly Stone Shipping corporate account, then the Users tab, which is only visible to group managers. All authorized users for this account are listed here. James then edits the Maria Wackendorf user to grant her group manager and e-bill permissions, allowing the senior manager to set up groups and access billing records for Nelly Stone Shipping. Next, James selects the MJN Fishing account and grants the same permissions to Jacob Gonzalez, who manages this account. Maria and Jacob can now organize vessels and manage users in their accounts as they wish. Let's start with Maria. Nelly Stone Shipping operates two fleets of vessels, tankers and container ships. Therefore, Maria wants to set up two groups in KVH Manager to organize vessels by type. When she logs into KVH Manager and selects Fleet Tools, she sees the Groups tab and the Users tab because she now has Group Manager permission. To begin, she creates a new group for the Nelly Stone Tankers fleet and adds all the tanker ships and their staff to it. She then creates a second group for Nelly Stone container ships. Now, Maria doesn't want the staff of Nelly Stone Tankers to have access to Nelly Stone container ships and vice versa. Therefore, Maria selects the Users tab and restricts those users to groups only. Now, when they log in, they will just see the vessels in their group. Now let's switch to Jacob at MJN Fishing, who also needs to organize his account. This time, vessels will be grouped by region instead of type. First, he creates a group for the fleet operating in the Atlantic Ocean. Then he creates a group for the Pacific. Finally, like Nelly Stone Shipping, Jacob also restricts users' access to just the groups to which they belong. What if a user only needs access to a single vessel in the group? For example, Kyle Nokon is the captain of the MJN Galesko. He just needs access to his own vessel in KVH Manager. Rather than setting up a single vessel group for this case, simply contact KVH Airtime Services to limit the user's access. As you can see, group managers have full control over the organization and visibility of their fleets in KVH Manager. They may even assign group manager or e-bill permissions to another user. They can also remove a user from the account. This concludes our brief overview of KVH Manager groups. For details, check out the associated topic in the help. If you have any questions, please contact KVH Airtime Services.